Okay, so first of all, everybody, I good Chodesh, and we're actually embarking on, if you follow the Hasidus of Chabad, what is the probably would have been the greatest yontif of all. What the Rebbe has made of this, truly celebrating the Melech Basada with his radiant face shining at us. So let's all imagine that. And let's dive into something very special that I actually, a very beautiful concept about Elul that I just, first time this year, discovered this beautiful explanation or insight. So you may all be familiar. It's very famous. It's originally in Likutei Deburim. It was said by the Frierdiker Rebbe on a very interesting time, Pesach, and he's speaking about Elul. I will come back to that. You're all going to wonder why he's speaking on Pesach about Elul. So we'll come back. But what did he say about Elul? And as a writer, the Frierdiker Rebbe liked to write. And if you just listen to this, if you like to listen to literary expression and sensory, the sensory experience, the Rebbe says a sentence that has 4 sensory experiences. He says, in Shabbos Avraham Elul in Lubavitch, how was it? So he describes it. It was still a clear, sunny day, but the air, the atmosphere already changed. You started to feel a Elul wind blowing, and you had you had an Elul like scent, the scent of Elul, and the Teshuva wind was blowing. The way I always took this is this is the wind that gives you a little of the shivers, right? Because we're approaching the day of judgment, Yom Hadin. And yes, it is awesome. Hashem is a king, and kings are awesome. And even though we understand that Hashem is here only wanting our good and loves us more than a father loves his only son, all these things we've been hearing from the Rebbe again and again. Nevertheless, I do get shivers when the wind blows. And like usually when we go to, at 1 in the morning or 12:30, we head to shul, for slichus. Suddenly the air turns chilly, and I'm always like going and shivering. I always wish, I hope it's warm that night because I'm tired. I hate to shiver. Some people love being cool, but I'm not one of those. So this is what it makes you think of, this kind of shiver. And then wait till you hear how beautifully this is explained. So the first thing, I don't want you to sit here and worry your beautiful brains about why is the Rebbe talking about this, presenting this in Pesach. It's so incongruent, right? And so this is going to help us understand the first of these 4 sensory experiences, where the sun is still shining. Why did the Rebbe have to say the sun is still shining? He could just have said the Elul wind is beginning to blow, or the atmosphere is changing, is becoming something is, of import is approaching. And there's something very important about the fact that the Frierdiker Rebbe mentioned the sun, because the Rebbe was not here only to do good writing. When we write, we put things in so it should have a rich imagery and to transport the person into the place. And we would think that this is it, but no. Each one of these 4 allusions actually has a ruchnistika quality and a message. So, what is the sun? The sun shines down on us from above. As we all know, what is Elul? Elul, the Rosh Tevos of Elul, is exactly the opposite of what the sun does. The sun is something that comes from above, below. But Elul is Anila Doidi. That's the whole big deal that we're making about it, that we're the one that initiate the relationship. Because what's going on? The king is in the field. He's there. Does he walk over to us and stick his face, so to speak, in ours and say, do you see me? Can you please engage with me? He does nothing like that. He just stays there available, but we have to put down what we're doing or even take it along. Take ourselves to the king and say, yes, you're available, and I am now taking the initiative to engage with the Melech. So it's not like everything is done just because the king is in the field. We still have to bring the initiative from below. So this is Elul, which is the Hakdama for Tishrei. What is the difference between the Avodah of Tishrei and the Avodah of Pesach? It's the exact contrary Avodah. Pesach, as we know, is the Rosh Hashanah for Hashem beginning the relationship with us. It's Avodah milamayla lamata, from above below. Tishrei is the beginning of the year for when we engage from below to reach and connect with our king. So what is the Rebbe? Why did the Rebbe? So look at this brilliance of how every detail is so significant. He's speaking about an Elul, even though he's speaking about an Avodah that comes from below. Why? And here's the reason. Because, by the way, I took the wrong paper. No. Here. Because, and this is very, very important, even these inyanim that we reach through our avodah, that you reach through your avodah, every one of you, and I with my avodah, even these things that we're trying to access and we will access with our avodah, even the anila doidi starts from above. Now, I want to relate this to, we're all in the time now where the Geula is imminent. The whole world knows now that the Geula is approaching and on the doorstep. The world events are making it very clear. So now, there are two ways of seeing it. Many people who are not educated in the talks of the Rebbe, I mean, they may be very educated, but they have not been exposed to the talks of the Rebbe. They think Mashiach is going to show up in a big hot air balloon and suddenly appear. Boing, here he is. But if we are following the Rebbe's talks, we know differently. The Rebbe has told us that everything is here. Everything is here. The table is set. But we just have to bring this Geula into us. And this is the Avodah, similar to the Avodah of Anila Doidi, that we have to do the initiative. It's there, just like the Melech is in the Sadeh, every Elul, the Melech HaMashiach is on the threshold. And we have to do the Anila Doidi. But how amazing this is, that what the Rebbe is telling us here in this beautiful Sikha, which, by the way, I will tell you, it's Chelik Yotes of the Kutei Sichos, it's a Sikha on Elul. So what the Rebbe is telling us, that even this that I reach with my Avodah, it's not my own doing alone. I am getting a Kayach Melamala. You know, it's a beautiful relationship. It's really beautiful, because we don't want to work on our own. Who wants to do something on their own? Everybody, of course, we need to do on our own. We want to engage with Hashem. But whatever I'm working on, am I working on tshuva? Am I working on betachon? You know, when you hear the news and it's devastating, you have to build yourself up again. You have to build your simcha up again. You have to build your betachon. You have to build up your patience. Or maybe you have to build up your impatience and say, I'm not taking this another minute, Hashem, come on, you want to go now. We're not waiting till tonight. We're not waiting till tomorrow morning. But we have to know that Hashem is giving us. We are getting that koyach malamala. Hashem is helping us to empower us. Okay, so that makes clear what the first descriptor is. And the rays of the sun further, when I just said the words made clear, those words just came out of my mouth, but they're the perfect words. Because what do the rays of the sun do? They give us clarity. So sun is really a vitamin. It gives us kayach, but it also gives us clarity. And when we come to that level of clarity, now Hashem says, now the Rebbe says, okay, now that you understand that where it's all coming from, where your power is coming from, you have that clarity, let's move on to the other three literary examples that were used by the Frierdiker Rebbe. Now it's interesting. The first of the three literary examples is one category. The next three examples go together. They enhance each other. They're building up steps on each other. So now that we have the clarity to move on, we see what goes next. The second part, we're talking about the scent. So what is the scent? And after that, what is the wind? Why these two? Okay, so let's look at the word ruach. The wind is blowing. Let's look at that one next. Now, the word ruach, there is another word that's very similar. Can anybody think? Anybody offer? I'm sure you all know it, but I'd love to hear your voices. Yeah. So if you're not muted, you can share what else does ruach mean besides wind?
Yeah.
What's
Spirit.
that?
Spirit, right. Nefesh. Spirit.
Spirit, thank you. And if you think of these two words, Geshem and Ruach, so now you have Gashmias and Ruachnias. So Ruach, which is spirit, is a shorthand for spiritual. So our spirit, that's our Ruachnias, that is our neshama, because we're made of a body and a soul, Geshem and Ruach, Gashmias and Ruachnias. Our neshama is really who we are. And so what the Rebbe is telling us is in order for us to do our Avodah of Elul, we have to get in touch with our core, with our neshama core. Real tshuva is to raise yourself to your inner core, to your true self, to your spiritual self, to that bechinas ruach in us. Tshuva is not changing yourself. People think, I'm going to be someone else. I know I have an anger issue or I have another temperament issue. I'm going to try to be someone else. I like that person, so I'm going to be that person. You don't have to be that person. That person is already taken. Nobody can be you except yourself. Be yourself. Get in touch. What you want to do is you already are the best person inside you. Lift yourself. Lift your outside self to synchronize to your inner self. When you get in touch with your inner ruach, that exalted spirit, then you're going to realize how special you are. See, that's the problem. We start running away from ourselves and looking at other people and thinking, I want to be more like that one. That's amazing. That's going to be my model. It's okay to get models. It's okay. But let's not forget that we already have a model inside us. We have a Miss America, a Miss Israel, whatever you want to call it, model inside us. And there's a believable connection inside us with Hashem. When we get in touch with ourselves and we understand our value, how exalted we are, and not only that, once we see how exalted we are inside ourselves, we take our eyes around us and we will see the same in everyone. Because what we see, once we get in touch with that golden place, we will see gold everywhere. That's how it goes. Once you're in touch with a certain quality or a certain word or a certain idea, you're going to start to see that idea reflected everywhere. So now that you came to that place, you can make a cheshbon hanefesh. I want to just put a little promotion in here and check with you if you have ever done this essence, and since you're meeting on and learning with each other, There's a very beautiful pre-experience from Tut Out called Essence. And we have been promoting people learning that. We did a whole round this summer, and people were learning it everywhere. And maybe next month or some other time, if you haven't done it yet, what is it? It's studying or getting in touch with your identity, your true identity, learning how to make your inner self become your outer self. Usually we think of it, we have an outer self and we have an inner self. This is, the Rebbe's talk about Etzem. It's Parshas Tetzaveh, the Sicha Parshas Tetzaveh. It's a magnificent experience. I highly recommend it. And just put it on your list. Okay, so that would happen. You get in touch with your core, with your Etzem. You become in touch with brilliant greatness, blinding beauty, and all that is inside you. So when you start to make your cheshvan and nefesh, now's that moment. The minute you have this gone inside you and got in touch with that dazzling beauty, that divine brilliance inside, now you can make your cheshvan and nefesh because you're coming from a very powerful place. A powerful place and a joyful place. And that's going to give you the strength. And so now, let's see what other word that was so similar to ruach, but it's a little different. It's the reach. A reach is a scent, a smell, a good smell. Now, any of you I did not review, so maybe any of you did review the Rasha Tevos of, I didn't do it yet, let's say that. The Rasha Tevos for Elul. Which pasuk relates to Geula? Because we have Anila Doidi V'Doidli, we have Torah, we have Tshuva, we have Tefillah, we have Tzedakah, and we have one set pasuk that corresponds to Geula. Does anybody remember which one it is? Is it Ina Liyadeh V'Samti Lecha? No, that's about the Ori Miklat. Or Mola Slavavcha Ve'Eslavav. It's not that one either. Well, it's one of the psukim for Rasha Tevos for Elul refers to Geula. So what is the purpose of everything we're doing? What is the ultimate motive of all the other 4 kinds of avodah we're doing in Elul? Geula, right? So Reach alludes to Mashiach. Why? Why does it allude to Mashiach?
You know why?
What's going to be unique about Mashiach? What will he be able to do?
He'll be able to decide based on smell. The person is
exactly. Nobody before him can do that I know about. So yes, so the tshuva that we want to do now, it also has to be, we have to have the kavanah that the purpose of it is to bring us to the Ruach HaMashiach, who's associated with scent, and and that's how he will be able to smell and judge the sensitivity that he'll have. So what does that tell us? How will we incorporate that? We're doing tshuva. How do we bring geula in? So this is something I love to talk about whenever I teach simcha. So Yehuda, do you remember that from lesson 1? I said, there's simcha for myself, but we don't live for ourselves. I mean, in Chabad, this is not a concept. Everything is collective. We always think beyond ourselves. We always include everybody. I am not going to be happy if I know someone else has a problem. The only way we're all going to be b'simcha is if I know that everyone is in place of simcha. And this is the idea. When we do tshuva, is it only about me? No. What we want to bring in here is the reach of geula, that everything I do is part of a bigger vision. It's a whole other way to do tshuva. The world is not only about, I know bishvili nivra ha'olam, but I was created not just bishvili. Maybe the world was created bishvili, but now that I'm here, my purpose is to serve and to be available for the whole world, to tip the whole world, to scale the whole world, and make the whole world kula zakai. My mission is not for my own self. That would be a very selfish way to live, and it would not bring me ultimate happiness. The only way it can bring ultimate happiness is this when I'm part of the whole. So that what we need is to bring the bigger vision in. And that's what Reach is reminding us. That leaves only one thing left. What's left? The avir, the atmosphere. Oh, there's a lot of talk about atmosphere in the world. They also know that we have to deal with the atmosphere. They just think they're talking about global warming because they don't really know. They don't learn the sichas. But we learn the sichas, so we are going to hear the truth about what the Aver is offering, what it can bring to us, and what we can bring to it. So the Rebbe, when he spoke, he said the Aver has already changed. Now, Aver, but the change is bringing us something that wasn't here before. And what is happening? So what happened is we're living in an age where the air has indeed changed. But before I go to there, let's just talk about what air is, okay? What is air? Air is something we need for survival. If somebody, God forbid, gets something stuck in their throat, every second counts. A person needs air to survive. Now, what happens if you don't have a home? Well, there are homeless people, and they can survive, unfortunately, without a home. And with clothing is important, but some people seem to manage with very little of it. And food. Food. We need food, but people can go without food for a while and still survive. But air is something we need. We all know that Hashem has planned everything very carefully. Whatever we need, according to our need, rather, He provides. So a house, it takes much more effort to build than to make clothing. Food is more readily faster available than making an article of clothing. Unless maybe Adam Achava's fig leaf outfit, maybe that went pretty fast. But air, don't worry. We have air. Air is available in plenty quantities you don't have to do anything. All of us, how hard did you have to work today to get the air? Everybody should be well. I'm not saying that every single person in the world doesn't have to struggle, but generally speaking, and for healthy people, we have it available constantly. Any change in air will definitely have a huge impact. And what I'm going to say is two things. Number one, that the Aver of Mashiach the world has already changed. The air has already become refined. Avodas habirurim is over. We don't have, the Rebbe said, he really complimented us. He said, you did an awesome job. All the quotas were completed. We have already brought the world to a place of being worthy of Mashiach. Okay, each one continue to do your inner avodah. There's no limit, keep on moving. But as a collective, the world has already become purified to the extent that Mashiach can come right now. And this is like more than 30 years ago when he said this. So now it's for sure. Now, you don't go backwards, only forward. So that's one thing. And before I go to the next thing, so Yehudit, you're the one that took the Simcha course, so we're going to pick your brain on this. No panic, no panic, no panic. You remember me saying that we have now a new quality of simcha associated with Geula, that the Rebbe asked us to have joy purely for Geula, not connected to a mitzvah, not connected like how a Yid always had simcha and Golas, but looking to the future, that Mashiach is on the threshold, knowing the Geula is so imminent, you can experience joy purely for Geula. And the name of it was Simcha B'Taharasa, pure joy, joy purely for Geula. And that's incredible. This is not a joy we've had available. This is not an atmosphere. Joy is in the atmosphere. It's not an atmosphere we've had available in the past. Now I'm hearing an echo. I guess because the atmosphere has changed.
Gitty, can you, we don't see you, move over a little bit more so we can, yeah.
Okay, is that going to help the echo?
I don't know,
We're not hearing any echo.
Okay, the echo's gone. Okay, the echo did its thing, it's gone. Okay. So I think we had to echo this. Was a very important message. So Hashem helped echo it in the world, and that's wonderful. Thank you, Hashem. So we already have something in the air that was not available all the years. Now you see we have global warming. Now we have Simcha B'Taharasa. The air is warming up, and it's like a new channel exists. Like maybe you discovered a new like airwave, and maybe you'll have a new like station of some kilohertz, megahertz, or whatever. It's a new channel of joy that exists now, just like the sun. Before it rises, you already see the glow. You know it's coming. So it already, you know that the sun is there already. Like you can, no one's going to argue it. These simcha particles, these simcha waves, the simcha light, illumination, already exists in our world now. Fact. It's not even a discussion. It's not a debate because we're so close. Okay, that's one point. The other point, and the Rebbe doesn't make it that clear in the Sikha, I'm adding this in. The other point the Rebbe stresses more, and that is that just like Hashem produces everything in exact synchrony, since we need air all the time on a very, very constant, consistent basis, that's why the air is easily always accessible, always readily available. You have to do nothing. It's an easy form to take in. So what is that telling us? That's telling us that it's not lofty. What Hashem is asking for us, it's not beyond us. It's ki karev elecha hadavar. It's right here. So people think Hashem is asking something, but it's really far away. It's on a mountaintop. I have to climb the mountaintop to get there. But no, we don't have to. It's right here and it's available. So I want to review, before I go to the next part where I wanted that screen sharing to take place, is let's review the 4 points of Elul. Number one, Hashem is here and he's giving us kayach. And he's shining that kayach on us and giving us the clarity. Each one of us has more clarity than we want to admit to. If we'll just admit to ourselves that the truth is clear, it's clear. Okay, that's number one. Number two, to be aware of your own exalted neshama, your ruach, and to be aware of others. Just think now of all the people. Are you all in the same room? No, just two of you are here. I think the rest of you are Zooming. I'm not sure how this is working.
We're all in the same room.
We're all in the same room.
Oh, you're all in the same room? Oh, that's beautiful. You actually gathered together. So look at each other and take a good look. And look around. You will see that in each person that is in the room, each one has an exalted ruach. And they're reflecting the exalted ruach that's inside you who are looking around. And that's magnificent. Okay, so that really makes Elul a very enjoyable, Teshuva, and a very, very enjoyable place, because now you're going to begin your Cheshbon HaNefesh from a place of great empowerment. The third thing, remember, the goal is to bring Mashiach. Remember the bigger picture. We're not living for ourselves. We're not living in our little box just caring about me and my own solutions, and that's all that matters. No, we're each one interconnected, and one solution is everyone's solution. One simcha is everyone's simcha. One person's tshuva is everyone's tshuva. And finally, number 4 is that it's not lofty, it's not beyond us. It's here, available, accessible, and not that hard at all. Easier than we think. We just have to get to it, and you have to become aware of it. Like when we breathe, we don't think about the air we're breathing. We just do it so automatically. So now we're going to be aware that we have something very special right here at our fingertips. Now, this part was to bring just a general, very beautiful, we could call it a taanug and koyach into our tshuva. Now I want to focus the lens specifically on women, to know as women, what are we bringing to the picture? Now, we're coming now to Tishrei, and people do a lot of shopping Tishrei, and everybody also wants to look good on Yom Tov, right? And get the sheitel done, and if you need something, and if you have jewelry, some people get, whatever it is, we want to look beautiful. And many people have this idea that beauty, I'm not going to give in so much to my beauty because I want to be in touch with my spiritual self. Well, I want us all to take a look at beauty and see what beauty is. And so let me find my booklet and take us there. So we had a curriculum that we were doing as a hachana this year for Gimel Tammuz, based on the Rebbe Sicha for the women, Achot B'Shvat. It reminds me, just like the Rebbe speaks on Pesach about Elul, so we were speaking in Tammuz about the Rebbe Chayimushka, but it's all year round, and women are here all year round, so it's relevant to us all year round. Now, the Rebbe has spoken about women more than any other Rebbe or any other Gadol. Not only that, the Rebbe has put women on a pedestal. And the Rebbe keeps reminding us how special we are, but we don't understand. In other words, we have to be more in touch with our female ruach, our feminine ruach. The Rebbe is the greatest feminist of all time, but he knows what feminism is. So the world has smelled the reach of Torah feminism has seeped into the world. The world is sensing that there's something up, and they picked up on the idea of feminism. This is going on already for decades, but they don't know what it's about. We know what it's about, but do we really know what it's about? And this is a very, very beautiful curriculum. We took the Achot B'Shvat Sicha, we used Tut Altz's resource, and I condensed it into like 28 short points. And some of them I sent pictures. I would like all of us to participate and have a chance to read some of these. I'll introduce it first. So the Rebbe keeps championing that we need women because women have a quality of emunah that men don't have on that level, that we have been all kinds of things. All kinds of things. We have unique abilities, but now the Rebbe goes to something called beauty. And the Rebbe asks a question. He says, what is the homes that we live in? How do you call apartment in Hebrew?
Dira.
A dira. Now, have you heard the Rebbe using the word dira? All the time. That we know Hashem is going to come down to this world, and we are the ones who are creating a beautiful home for Hashem down here, Lamata, right? We are building a beautiful home for Hashem, not just any home. So the Rebbe says, what is a dira? A dira, it's where you live, right? It's your apartment. You're going to have a bed. You're going to have a table. You'll have, things to cook with. But there are two ways to live. There's level 1, basic living. So the home is a shelter, right? Just like we talked about, everybody needs a home. And it's a functional place to provide your functional needs. But then there's level 2, and that is to make the home beautiful. And then it's not only beautiful to behold, but it will enhance the one who lives there. And who is coming to live in our home? Hashem. We are preparing a home for Hashem. And so we are going to make that home ready. Now, who loves making homes beautiful? Is it the husband or is it the wife? Everyone knows. The wife. Who is more inclined? Who cares about the color of the walls? Who gets all, like I had to paint a wall in the house. I was going crazy with that color, with that wall. And my husband couldn't care less to smear anything on it. But for me, it made a world of a difference. And then the pictures. No, I had to go here. No, you're hungry. Don't hang it up 1 second. I had to measure it a little lower, a little bit. Oh, what color should the frame be? Or what size should it be? We're all caught up in these details. But guess what? There's a reason for it. It's not just a weakness we have. It's actually a strength we have. So look, let's say someone's running a Chabad house. So they make the Chabad house beautiful. Why do you think they're making the Chabad house beautiful? Come on, take a guess.
Women.
Draw the women in.
Yeah, attract women.
That's right. To draw people in, right? Nah, that's what we think. The Rebbe says there's much more to it than that. Because the real reason is because you should make a home for Hashem. I'll stop the sentence again. A home for Hashem must be beautiful. 1 second. So why do we make the Chabad house beautiful? The reason is not only what you guessed, which that itself is a good reason. That would be valid, but the Rebbe always finds something deeper than what we just come up with. A home for Hashem must be beautiful and fitting for its resident. Who is its resident? Hashem, who will come down to dwell in this inviting and pleasing home. Therefore, the beautiful decor, all the beautiful programs, they're not just superficial aspects of running the Chabad house. They're a critical aspect of creating a dira b'tachtainim. So already you see that beauty is playing a more spiritual role, and it's becoming some part of something bigger. Now, beauty is physical and spiritual, correct? So what we have when we talk about beauty, I just want us to remember, to be aware that we're not talking about only spiritual beauty, and we're not talking only about physical beauty. We as women are all running either a Chabad house or whatever chassid or whatever. You're running a Jewish home. Whether you're Chabad or not Chabad, you're running a Jewish home of which you are the beauty director. You're the one that wants to make it beautiful. How are you going to make it beautiful? One way is going to make it aesthetically beautiful, which is with physical furnishings and other enhancements, and also with behavior. So we need both. We beautify our mitzvahs, and that also brings beauty into the home, that beautifies the one that we're inviting to come in. Hashem is beautified and the home is complete. Okay, now I want to take us to the question, why women? What do women have? Why not men? And that's where we're going to pull up day 22. And that's the first message that we're going to be sharing. And I'm going to ask someone to read so we can have everyone participating.
Let's read.
Okay, 1 second.
Okay. Women can reach where men don't. Men bring holiness into the world from above. Women reveal holiness into the lowness of the world, the mata, down below. Women can channel holiness to a level of matha that men cannot reach. Men actually avoid that level while women embrace it and make it holy.
Okay, stop for 1 second. You're reading so beautifully. So we already see that women somehow have a power that men don't have. And now you're going to continue reading. Who's reading? What's your name?
That's Masha.
But
reading.
Masha.
Masha. So Masha, now you're going to read a question, and that's going to be a very critical question. So continue reading.
Okay. Why can women reach lower than men? Women can reach lower because the source of their neshama is higher. That's why women can create a dwelling down below for Hashem. Dira b'tachtonim, in the lowest ground. The women's superior kedusha, holiness, will be revealed when Mashiach comes.
Isn't that incredible? And I have the innovation. We were listing the innovation up to number 15, that women can achieve more because they bring Kedusha to a lower place. So that's a really fascinating revelation. And we never thought of it that way. We never thought that.
Good question.
It seems counter. Their neshama is so high, so how come they can reach lower?
If our neshama is so high, how come it's lower?
If they're so high.
Okay, so that's an excellent question. And that question comes up. It's reflected in all aspects of the Kabbalah aspect of Hasidus. As you know, there's a hierarchy in our kingdoms. We have the lowest is inanimate domain. Above that, the plant kingdom, Sameach. Above that, Chai, the animal kingdom. And above that is us, the human who can speak, the Medaber. And here we are feeding off animals and plants. How could that be? We should be feeding off, sustained by things that are higher than us. But the reason is that all the lower something is, the higher its source. It fell from a high source to lower. And only when Mashiach comes will the true source be revealed. And that's why it says of women, Eishes Chayil Ateres Bala. She's going to be above. She's going to be circling above her husband. And also it says Nekeva to Sevev Gever, the same idea, and circling on a higher level. And also another way I want to show it to you is the difference between the way the Mishkan, with what the Mishkan was built with, and what the Beis Hamikdash is built with. The Mishkan was built with things from the animal kingdom. And the higher you went, follow the hierarchy, the way I described it. But the Beis Hamikdash is going to be built more with things from the inanimate. Why? It should be higher than the Mishkan. It's a Beis Elamim. It's a permanent, much more, Hashem Shekhinah was much more pervasive there. But that's the point, that in the future will be revealed that the lower is truly higher. And that's the same goes for women versus men. Now, somebody who's great, who learned, knows the inner source of everything and knows already how things will be in the future. We just see what we have now. That's why we need the Rebbe to tell us that we already have to act in accordance with that. And if we want to finish doing what the world needs, we have to step into our power. We'll see a little more as we continue. And that's why we need someone, a volunteer, to read day 23.
Day 23.
Oh, day 23, okay. That was that. There it is.
Okay. Nice.
Good. Oh, good. Okay. One to read.
Boy, okay. Physical beauty and holiness, holiness in the lowness. Physical beauty can be viewed as an artifice,
a distraction from spirituality, but women rightly see and reveal holiness in the lowness. If we view physical beauty only as a distractor from holiness, we would be correct to shun it. But if we see physical beauty as a reflection and embodiment of spiritual beauty, then on the contrary, making Hashem's home beautiful becomes a holy endeavor. We need to see it that way. Otherwise, the physical beauty cannot become godly.
Thank you very much. Who read so beautifully? What's your name?
Oh, Rachalea.
Rachalea. First of all, I see we have a treasure hidden in Baltimore. You have beautiful readers. I love your reading. So now, do you remember what I said before, that beauty is going to be a fusion of spiritual, and it's binding the spiritual and physical together. It's not just going to be aesthetic, and it's not only going to be spiritual. It has to have the Geshem and the Ruach bound together. And so when we approach beauty, we have to have a solid awareness of this information, of this connection. And that's what the Rebbe is telling us over here, that when we go to the physical beauty, it's not a distraction from the holiness, but when we see that it's reflecting and bound to the spiritual beauty, it's just a revelation of it in a way that we can sense it with our physical eyes. Well, we have bound it for strength. Okay, now we're going to go to day, actually, I only gave you part of day 23. So I'm going to read the rest of day 23, and then you're going to carry on for the next one. If we view the home as only a functional location, then the physical beauty of the world can never become Hashem's primary residence. It can never become his dira b'tachtonim. It is our role to make the beauty godly. The role of the Jewish woman in this final stage of Galus is to turn the final frontier, which is physical beauty, which is otherwise seen as a distraction from holiness, into a home for Hashem. So we women are the pioneers that are taming the final frontier. That is our holy mission. So what the Rebbe is saying here is that beauty is not a distraction from holiness, that it's the way we're going to internalize Kedusha. It's the final frontier. And now day 24 is short and powerful. And why do we need the message of day 24? I'll tell you in advance, because people keep asking that question. It's so hard for us to internalize that beauty is holy. People keep saying, but maybe we're misusing it. Maybe we're getting carried away. Maybe we're doing it too much. And yes, it is possible to get carried away and do too much. Everything with balance, as long as you keep awareness. How many women in this group study Tanya?
We do the Tanya.
Yeah,
we do.
we all do.
So in the Tanya, we learned that there is no such thing as neutral. There's no gray area. It cannot remain gray for more than a moment. It's either you're using it for something, either you're misusing, in other words, using it, you're frittling it away, or you're using it for Kedusha. There's no in between, that anything in this world is either going to be brought down and into impurity, or going to be brought up and included in Kedusha. The same with beauty. So yes, beauty on its own, without the proper awareness, without using it properly, yes, it can take you somewhere where you don't want it to go. But when you do it the way that Tanya outlined, that your kavana, that in your mind you link it to your life of spirituality and to the right purpose and mission, then the beauty becomes godly and holy. Okay,
Is that
who
like
wants to read day 24?
Okay.
What?
Is that also with anything else physical, like food and good wine?
That's exactly what the Alter Rebbe brings in chapter 7 of Tanya. Exactly examples: food, even delicious, excellent meat and delicious wine. And he gives an example of Rabbi, and he wanted to eat this to expand his mind. So yes.
So if you it's like if you appreciate Hashem, drinking the wine or something like that.
Yeah,
You have an appreciation for Hashem.
right. And also, Yehuda, I'm going to check your memory again. I didn't.
Yes.
I brought a piece of Tanya to show that even humor also is mentioned in that same chapter 7. That when we use humor to make ourselves
Humor.
in a good mood, to raise our spirits, to open our mind, because it's for students. If you tell them some humor, they laugh, and then they connect to the teacher and expands their mind, literally expands their cognitive potential. When you do that, and also to bridge, to connect with a husband, to avoid to step away from conflict. For all these things, humor becomes holy. But also humor can be used in a very unholy way and take you far away. It can become holiness, which is a very, very bad place to be. So you see everything, yes. But who would think of beauty? Until now, all of us women thought that beauty is a little weakness that we have. And yeah, it's true, we should be beautiful, but not too much, right? Because, yeah. So I'm not saying too much should be done now either. I'm just saying, look at beauty as something holy. That's all. And that we need it. And that we're accomplishing something for the world. Now let's do day 24. Who would like to read?
Was that 3? It was Stolik. 3. Was it 3?
Number 4.
Day 24.
24. Okay, fine.
There we go.
Please read again.
Who wants to read? Anybody want to read?
Yes, who's going to read?
And now up to Taanug.
You can't find it?
Can you
It's a
see it?
double. 24 and 25 came together.
Oh. It's supposed to move.
It's what?
I thought this thing would move.
Oh.
It did. Okay, good.
Oh, okay.
Emerging spiritual and physical beauty, we touch on the source of all things, where the spiritual and physical converge, and from which they both emerge.
Well, besides the fact that it rhymes nicely, are you understanding what this is telling you? This means we're going above. We're going above the place where they separated into good and bad. And above the place where they're separated into Geshem and Ruach, into spiritual. So we're going above the place, we're going to the, and from that source, we connect to an inside part of Hashem. Now, day 25, and we're coming to the end here. Day 25. Now what we want to do, we want to bring beauty and Taanug together. We want to tie them together. Beauty and Taanug. Taanug is pleasure. So what is pleasure? Pleasure is, I'm going to tell you what pleasure is. Pleasure is a rich inner, it's actually here. Okay. Oh, someone's going to read it. Okay. Let somebody read it. Day 25.
Vicky, you want to read? Or she thinks no. What do you feel like reading?
Okay, who was reading before? Who read 24?
Arthur is.
Who read 24? Did you want to get the read?
What's your name?
Eluna.
Amuna. Beautiful. Amuna, can you continue reading 25? They're both short, so it's good. Perfect.
Beauty and Taanug, pleasure, are closely aligned. Taanug is that rich inner experience which brings you in contact with yourself. Taanug opportunities abound in our day-to-day activities, in the way we prepare food, the clothing we choose for ourselves and family, in the dishes we purchase to beautify our Shabbos table,
in the way we organize our closets and maintain our home. The capacity for Taanug is embedded deep inside us. Well,
So we just read a mouthful. Thank you beautifully, Amuna. Thank you so much. So now, what do we have here? We're taking the beauty and we're almost like putting it in our mouth and swallowing it and inhaling it. And we're actually going to start living a beautiful Taanug life. Everything we do, after a while, it becomes like a daily, a grind. You do it every day. You always have to go shopping again. Always have to clean up again. Always have to do laundry again. Always this and always that. And then you kind of forget why you're doing everything. So let's realize and bring Taanug into our life. And here we describe it's an experience that's inside us. Many times when people close their eyes, that's the inner experience of the light that you're feeling. And everybody, I don't have time to go into it now, but everybody, because you gave me a limit and we're past it, but everyone has different things that give them Taanug. And remember we were discussing it in our course?
Yeah.
Some people with their children, some people by the beach, some people music, some people art. And all the things we do all day also have Taanug in them, because the inner reason for everything we do emerges from the deepest core, which is Taanug. And so we have to bring that in more, because beauty and Taanug, these are similar experiences. They go together like a glove and a hand. But now I want to tell you the last part. Okay, the last part is going to take our Taanug, and really listen very, very carefully. Open your minds and your hearts and your heads, and and how we're going to bring this to not only to ourselves, but to Hashem and to Geula. Okay? So the header for the next part, I couldn't put a picture of it because it was split on two pages. So Taanug aligns us with the divine space of Geula. And now I'm going to explain how that is so, okay? Our Taanug, our experience of Taanug, emerges from our deepest core. So deep inside each of us is the core for Taanug, for pleasure. It's the deepest part of us. And every single thing we do in our lives is generated because it's going to activate that inner core. So it's the deepest place inside us. Now, this Taanug and being our inner core mimics and mirrors the Taanug in the realms above, in the divine realms. This Taanug feeling, the pleasure and delight, it's an internal, yes, elevation, and it connects us to Hashem's inmost place, his inner chambers. So what we're doing is like let's say you meet another Yid, and you give him your hand. What is he going to extend? A foot? No, he's going to extend his hand as well. It's my hand, I give you it's your hand, I give you my hand. I give you my Taanug. Is Hashem going to give us his hand, or he's going to give us his Taanug? He responds in kind. So he gives us his Taanug, his innermost part, his most elevated place. Okay, so now we've established a very deep connection, right? Let's carry on and have another paragraph and a half. The supernal pleasure is the deepest aspect of godliness. You got that, okay? Living with Taanug expresses alignment with that divine space. Taanug to Taanug, just like we had said, handshake to handshake, Taanug to Taanug. And now with the clincher, the last paragraph, it's one sentence. Living, and this really is going to be like the cherry on top. Living with Taanug is in as we become more aligned with the delight of living with Hashem. As we're getting close to Geula, we're going to be living with the core. Remember we talked about the ruach, the ruchnius, the inside, the etzem. So we're getting more in touch with our inner part, not the superficial part. And that's what's going to be our life in Geula time, a life of internal elevation, deep connection, revelation of Hashem's inmost self, etzem, all of this. And when we live it now, that's the ani l'doidi. That is making it happen. And as women, when we tune in to that Taanug and connected to beauty, because beauty and Taanug go together, we said, right? They activate each other. What we're doing is we're raising ourselves to a place of Geula. It's like, scent. Isn't scent aroma? Isn't that a thing of like aromatherapy? Isn't that pleasure? It's all pleasure. So we're raising ourselves, we're rising into that place. And the world is depending on us women to do that. So what this is telling us, this curriculum that we covered now, is telling us that Taanug is in, living with Taanug is in, and living with Taanug is a Geula state, and women are the ones that are the arbiters of it. The home depends on us, the world depends on us, Hashem depends on us, and that's a great privilege. So we have Taanug just celebrating, imagining how pivotal we are in all this. That should fill our hearts with tremendous delight. I know maybe you sound a little, oh, can I do it? Yes, we can, because we tune into our ruach, to our inner core, and there's a dazzling inside each one of us. We have what it takes. So when Yehuda told me, can we, what?
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so when Yehuda, but you said your name is Yehuda with a T, with a T, with Israeli Yehuda. When Yehuda told me, suggested the title Taanug and Teshuva, my first reaction was, 1 second, I don't usually speak on Teshuva. I'm going to have to prepare something. Maybe I should ask for something else. And I said, you know what? So I'll learn something about Teshuva, because there's a lot of Taanug, and Teshuva has a lot of simcha in it. But then I started thinking about it more and thinking that when we return, when we women will turn into our inner core, to our feminine inner core, more than every universal inner core, it's the feminine inner core, and connect in and expose that Taanug and beauty and the capacity for it that we have within us. That's the Teshuva, turning into our own inner core and bringing it out and making it something very, very alive, each one in our domain, our private domain, which is Hashem's domain. And
so it's not just returning to Hashem. It's not just returning to Hashem, it's returning to ourselves. That's Teshuva.
So Hashem, the Hashem in us. And also how beautifully we said it here, that our Taanug mirrors the Taanug of the realms above, because we are merely reflections. Hashem created us in his image. So whatever we do in our ruach, in our inner spiritual inside, is part of Hashem. It is turning to Hashem, but Hashem as he is in us. And it already is there. We don't have to create it. It already is now. Ladies, what are we going to change now that we know this?
What are we going to change? We'll put the whip away and the Chinese water drip away, and we'll put away the hot water, the hot no.
And what are we going to take out? And what are we going to feel legitimate about?
Anybody else want to talk?
Ilona.
Masha.
We are going to honor our feminine capacity for beauty and Taanug.
Right.
Yehuda, do you remember we were talking about everything we do? We can find Taanug in it. Now, I shop in Crown Heights. You walk into the store, the aisles are too small for the amount of people that have to pass. There's either place for the person stocking the shelves again or for the person shopping. and you're about to walk in and go, okay, I see a lot of people there. Uh-oh, here we go. That's not Taanug. So I have to realign myself when I stand outside the store, and I have to think, Taanug, I'm shopping for Shabbos. What Taanug? How lucky we are to have a Shabbos. I'm going to walk into the store. Yes, it's going to be crowded, but all these are Jewish people. And aside each one of them, there's that ruach. And it's dazzling. And so I have to wait for somebody. So I know maybe I think I want to finish faster and it's going to take longer. But look, I'll connect to Hashem, and He has the patience, and He's, so He's giving me the kayach. I'll be able to stand there and smile and feel radiant and filled with Taanug, and this is going to be an amazing shopping experience. You could bring Taanug into everything you do. And then you want to make it nice. And you think, oh, I want to get nice dishes, another nice dish on my table. No. Stop giving into that. Why not? We're making a beautiful home for Hashem. And our Shabbos table, that's Hashem's table. So wherever you touch, you could turn it to gold.
So we can, fantastic.
Interesting.
So much better.
Any questions? Any questions?
Have questions, Marsha? Deborah, you have a question over there?
No.
No, I shouldn't have. Yeah, it's very, very nice. Okay.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you.
It should be Hatzlacha in your Avodas Elul, and take advantage of the king in the field, and all the Taanug and Simcha, and Debusha should give and still in all, we could still ask Hashem to make it happen. I know it's depending on us a lot, but we're working together. So, all the best.
Right.
Thank you very much for having me. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Send me your Zelle information. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, come on.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Chasiva
Yeah.
Shema Tova to all of you.
Yeah.
Well, we should
Great.
also remember that during Elul we add David Hashem Ori
Nice.
Yeah.
twice a day. Do we say it?
Yes. Very important.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, what do y'all think?
If we hurry right now, we can probably make it. It's fine.